the embassy's presence in Canada. For example, you have the Embassy of the United States, one building, there a couple of consulate here and there. How about we tell them that you extend your presence in Canada. Let's say everybody's going to ticked off right now. Bring the CIA and FBI in Canada, not to interfere in Canadian affairs, not at all. Canadian citizen, not at all. But work under your embassy to protect your country from our country. Because you're claiming that there are people in Canada that they might want to use Canada to hurt the United States. Okay, you be the police of those people. If there are people like that, you go on and find them for a price. What's the price? Get rid of these damn borders. We don't need these borders. We're employing few people because we have borders in the service industry. We don't need those jobs. Open the borders. Let's just go back and forth. Why? Because your CIA, just as it is in New York or in California or anywhere else, is also in Ontario. Your offices are here and you're protecting your country from our country. But you don't interfere in our business. If anything comes that deals with a Canadian citizen, immediately will have to be handled to the Canadian authorities, and we always have a good cooperation on that. But we're not going to go after those American enemies in our country. You go yourself, find them. But open the borders. Let's say there are huge investors from India that they want to produce things in Canada or China. They say that, okay, the natural resources are here, we know it, where all this northern Ontario, all over the place, man. So they can create factories in Canada which works under their embassy. They're not Canadian citizens, just as I said, it happens in Dubai. They can produce Chinese good within Canada and give it to us right here. So they do not need to take this material, natural resources from here to their country, and they make it and they send it back. We just save a lot of time, and fishes in the oceans are happier because there's not too many of these ships going back and forth, wasting the resources of the earth. Let those workers to come down in Canada and work here in their own compound. Dubai is doing, so why can't we do? We do the same thing for them if they want to. They want Canadian technologies. We get to go live in their countries, in our own system. Saudi Arabia has done that because we have our own standard of living. We extend our embassy in China or in India or any country that they want us. And there are millions of things in the service industry that Canada could do. We could actually be hired to go work in many countries of the world, how to fix their welfare system, how to fix population, schooling, teaching them this globalism, this Canadianism, imported to them by our teachers, by our Canadian to go there. There are a lot of things in that area. We're expert in it. Teaching them how to run their police department, education department, a school system. We tell them that give us a contract, we come down here and we create a Canadian education system in your country if you want. And for that, we do need have this Ministry of Sales that the minister has greatest salesman in the country, and they go around the world to see what product can they sell. What is it that the world needs that we could do it? Or we come down here and do it. And in this process of sameness, we have to relax about a lot of things that we do in this country. We have too much bureaucracy. I'm a worker. You're saying that I'm a self-employed person. I don't need workers' compensation for myself, but I would have to have for those who are working for me. Why? If somebody is getting injured, well, there is the hospital. If somebody is out of work, well, there is unemployment insurance. If nobody has nothing, there's welfare system. What is this workers' compensation board doing in between? An overlapping system. And these things basically is an stoppage point. And I'm not just picking up on the workers' compensation. There's lots of other things like that. We just have to stop it in order for the business to grow. I'm not saying that bring the standard of health down or bring the standard of the human condition and work down. But for God's sake, there are so many bureaucracies involved that in the area of the work, I'm telling you, I work in my job, we do not use 10%, 5% of the standards that if ever we get a contract to work on an industrial site for the city. There we have to have our hat, our boat. We can't even use leather, which is made and sold in this country. We'll have to go in these skyjacks and all kind of things. It just takes 10 times harder to do it. And all of these safety measures have not saved anybody's life. Go look for the records. People are just getting just as injured. So we have to relax about these things and try to understand this process of sameness that's happening. Canada is the world in a small form. So we have to see how the world operates and respond to that way, but in a progressive way. We do not come down and say, okay, for the sake of money, I'm going to let go of the greatest standard which we have as far as the healthcare or everything else. No. But there are lots of extras that has to be coming out, getting rid of it. It seems in Canada, honest to goodness, beside the government that's elected by people, there has to be some good initiative taken by some real man. I like those Anglo-Saxons and a couple of other people, even from the other nations, get together and create these guardians of Canada. People that they don't work for money. They don't need money. They don't even have another bureaucratic name of non-profit organizations. There is no name for them. They're just friends together. They're called Guardians of Canada. But they're known, their ideologies and everything else. And they're telling to the people in Canada what's wrong, what's right. People can see them. People that are not in politics, they're not any affiliations with any particular race or color or religion, nothing. They're just thinking about their country. In a global world, they're saving Canada for the sake of the world. They don't want this project to fail. Because if it does not fail, Canada does not fail, the rest of the world has a hope to become like it. But definitely, one of the things that we have to understand and take it is that we do not have enough populations. And our immigration system sucks. Let's get rid of it. Make a simple questionnaire. You sign, you come in. You lie, you get deported. Just like drinking and driving. We're not going to waste our time and energy to find out in a country of Djibouti whether you committed a crime or not, or what these things was. There are many things you could do that's just totally not our standard. This is why we have this protocol of Canadianism. We have to understand it. We're going to interview you and test you to see that you accept this. For example, the equality of man and women is here. Your wife is not your subordinate dog that you tell her, fetch this and fetch that. This is not the way Canada is. Your daughter and son are the same right. Okay? You can't bring substandard laws in Canada and operate it and practice it. But if you accept those things, definitely as a trades, that we require in Canada. Not that we don't. We require that trade. And he can pass the English. Let him come in. Okay. And the foreign investors, such as Indians and Chinese, many countries, they're totally bogged down with this bureaucratic system that we have. We have to relax about this. This is not a conservative's idea. This is not a liberal idea. This is not an NDP idea. This is a Canadian idea. It has nothing to do with politics. We like to repopulate this country, and we're taking exodus of people to come in here by their own money to set new cities. Start from a smaller town, the project. You'll find out who in India wants to invest to make certain goods in Canada. That we help him to tell him that if he makes this and that, he could sell it around the world. Okay? We tell him now the workers are here. They're Americans. You invested, they come in. But we're going to relax. We're not going to give in to change the Canadian protocol. We're going to write this down. We're going to act upon them. And there are lots of them. And if they're not out there, go lobby them. Bring them here. Let's build a beautiful country of all the people of the world. This is what we have to do. This part tonight, I spoke about basically repopulating of Canada. Of course, you know, I'm just a contractor. And a man like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. During the day, I'm Tony, the contractor. In the night, my name is Abbas, and I'm sitting down and talking to you about this thing. Is because Canada is my religion. It is the holy land of God. This is the new holy land, where the elders of God landed on this soil. So, as one of them, I feel that I should share my opinion and give it to you guys. Hopefully when I'm dead as soon as possible, I will join the League of the Heroes, as your custom is in this planet. And then maybe somebody listens and takes these ideas and see what they can do. All of these things is not that I assume a position among you. I am an elder of God. I cannot accept any other position. I cannot be the chief or the boss or the CEO of any movement that you have. You got to do it on your own. Okay? I can give my opinion if you want to. I can talk to you. But this all-inclusive idea that we have in Canada has to be trimmed. It's too wild. There's a lot of extras has to be cut. But we're dealing with a system. We're not dealing with Saddam Hussein here. If there's a Saddam on the top, we bring him down. If there's a Gaddafi, we bring him down. Bashar al-Assad will bring him down. In Canada, the dictatorship of the system exists. The poor Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, is more obliged and obedient than anybody else to the system. Is afraid more from the system than anybody else. Those guys who are on welfare, they're really the only free people in Canada. They don't go with any borders. They're in the bottom pit. They have no fear. Everyone afraid of them. But when you're in politics and everything, your hand is so badly tied up, you see. This is the Prime Minister. My God, even the Queen of England, even the royalties are a problem. They can't move 1 inch over their protocols, or else they get shunned, they get criticized, and all that. So, in these situations, the system, of course, is run by all of us, all the people. So if those guardians of the Anglo-Saxons race start up and come up together, alongside with other people from China, from India, from Italy. If not, then you will be called racist, you see. David Suzuki is one of them. He's an staunch Canadian. Nobody else more Canadian than him. So those kind of people to think what is really right to do in this country. You know, what is the grammar of this country? Let's write it down. Let's write that protocol. And be the voice, the conscience, and the ethics, and the brain of people. But an organization again. We're already organized as Canadian. These guardians, they have to get together. They can run their program right on TV when they're discussing. Let people learn. See what they think and what are the ideas is wrong. Bad movie comes in, they can come up and say that movie causes this and that and that and that. Policies comes, they have to say that. I know those things are there already, but it does not seem it works. It needs a different, fresh, power to come in and inject it with a new power. This is the problem with the poor Anglo-Saxons. Anything they say that I say to them, tomorrow they're charged in the court for racism. So that's the way we started it, and that's what it is. The main problem is that you Anglo-Saxons, you yourself do not know what have you done by building Canada and the rest of the world. You don't know what marvel has been created by you. Okay? You've lost your confidence because everybody's pointing at you and you don't know how to defend yourself in a polite manner, in a loving manner, that this is what you've done. But most of you, the honest ones, they come down and their neck is like this. People said, yeah, see, we told you that. The manner of the English people in 1800 and 1700 was extremely polite. They were famous for being polite. English politeness, even in Iran, we knew that. They're so extremely polite these people are. In their mannerism and everything else. They're not so much religious, but when it comes to mannerism, to ethics, they were number one. So we have to change this trend that even anybody dare to call you racist. You're responsible for it. What are you going to do? You have to listen to me then, because I'm not your color, isn't it? Then people may be saying that, okay, this sounds like genuine. Well, if somebody is interested from any level in this country to do something, I know everything starts from idea, as the English saying says, mind over matter. So I throw some of my mind in this video, see if there is somebody else, somewhere else, listening to this, counter it back and add to it. Like this, we come up with some kind of idea in the center that eventually creates that protocol of the Canadianism that basically becomes accepted by all the Canadians, that they know in this manner, in this way we have come and in this way we have to go. Just like the grammar of a language. You see, we create the word Google, and this word wasn't there, but now we're saying Googling, we add ing to it, or we say Googled, because the grammar tells us the past has to have an ed. Although Google is not a word, but we create a word and we made it a verb, and then we add ed to it. Why? Because we have an English grammar. Same thing, we have to create a social grammar for Canada, that within that line we go and grow. Okay? Brothers and sisters, good night.